Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing you the starting 11 show for Everton versus Brentford on Saturday at 5:30. Let's get straight into it. Jordan Pickford in goal. Again, I say this every week, nothing more to be said. Some huge saves against Liverpool, kept us in the game definitely, and kept Liverpool off the score sheet, which was huge at that moment of time. Also, you look at the Nottingham Forest game as well. He made some huge saves in that game. So if he takes that performance in and he takes that form into the next game, I can have absolutely no complaints. And I'm sure Sean Dyche will definitely be relying on Jordan Pickford on Saturday afternoon. And again, as I said before, if he just takes that performance in and replicates the last two performances in the last week, I think, definitely we're going to be needing him. Ivan Toney up front is definitely a player that'll get shots off consistently. So yeah, for me, Pickford in goal. Left back, I would obviously have gone Vitaly Mykolenko, but for his unfortunate injury in the Merseyside derby just before half time. Obviously, we wish him a speedy recovery and we hope he's backfiring in Everton shirt. Maybe not this season. Obviously, we are very close to the end of the season now, but next season, hopefully he has a good pre-season and gets back to fully to full fitness. But for me, it'll be Ashley Young on Saturday against Brentford. He came on against Liverpool at half time, played well, showed his experience. He kept Liverpool's wingers relatively quiet. I think Luis Diaz had one good opportunity where obviously he rattled the inside of the post. But for me, Ashley Young had a pretty decent second half against he had a pretty decent second half against Liverpool. I'd feel quite comfortable with Dwight McNeil in front of him. Dwight McNeil's obviously he's got a lot of tenacity, Dwight McNeil, and he does chip in terms of defence, and he does like to get back and help the defenders. So for me, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with Dwight McNeil ahead of Ashley Young rather than Jack Harrison. That's just my personal opinion, but yeah, I think Dyche will look to use Ashley Young at left back at the weekend, and then moving into centre half. It has to be the usual two, doesn't it? It has to be the trusty duo at centre half, Jared Branthwaite and James Tarkowski. What more has to be said about Jared Branthwaite? Our Derby Day star boy. What a performance he put in on Wednesday night. He was absolutely immense, wasn't he? Obviously getting on the score sheet, scoring that goal to put us 1-0 ahead in the first half, and then also keeping so solid for that second half and keeping Liverpool out. Huge credit for him because that was an unreal performance from Jared Branthwaite on Wednesday night, and full credit to him because, as I said at the start of the season, he's a player that we didn't really see too much last season, obviously with his loan to PSV Eindhoven. And at the start of this season as well, he didn't really get an opportunity till the start of September. But what a season he's had for us so far. And I'd hate it if he left in the summer. He might well do, but for me, Jared Branthwaite he's our star boy at the moment, isn't he? And next to him, as I said, in this centre half duo, it's James Tarkowski. I thought he went underappreciated on Wednesday night. Obviously, as I said in my extra time review, I said that every player could have had their own 5-10 minute segment on how good they were, but I think a lot of Evertonians have looked over James Tarkowski because he is that consistent performer week in week out. James Tarkowski, he's not the player that you look to like your Jared Branthwaite as that star performer. He's just a consistent performer. And I thought he was solid on Wednesday night, and he can definitely offer us some aerial ability against Brentford. Obviously, as I said, Ivan Toney, a striker that likes to put himself about. Branthwaite and Tarkowski, it has to be said, they're going to have their work cut out in this game. There's no doubt about that. But there's no reason why they can't challenge, and there's no reason why they can't rise to the occasion and just get us over this line. I think if we do win on Saturday and Manchester City beat Nottingham Forest on Sunday, we will be mathematically safe. So still everything to play for here. And moving into right back, I'm going to go with Ben Godfrey. I thought he played so well on Wednesday night against Luis Diaz. He read the game so well. As I said in my extra time review, it seems to be an area of his game now where he's really getting to he's really positively influencing that. He's showing week in, week out that he has got some defensive awareness now, something that we haven't seen in the last two seasons or so when he has been shoehorned out to fullback. And obviously we have to say that Ben Godfrey, by trade, his natural position is centre half, and putting him at fullback, obviously he's not the most comfortable there, but I think he's putting in a great shift at the moment. And so if Seamus Coleman was fully fit, I maybe would have looked to put him just as a natural fullback, just for a bit of balance. But Ben Godfrey can definitely put in a good performance on Saturday, and I think we're going to need him. But yeah, moving into midfield, that's my defence completed. Moving into midfield, I think Sean Dyche will look to use Garner again. This is a bit of an interesting one because, as I said on Wednesday night after the game, Idrissa Gueye was immense again. I keep saying this, and I know I keep bringing up this Liverpool game, but why would you not? We won 2-0. But for me, Idrissa Gueye was absolutely immense, and this game for me can be won in the midfield. You look at Matthias Jensen, Frank Onyeka, they're two players that we can definitely overrun in midfield. You know, they do have quality, it has to be said, but they're two midfielders there that we can definitely overrun. And for me, as I said before, that the game can be won and lost in midfield. But Idrissa Gueye, how long can we get out of him? That's another question. See, he's not spring chicken anymore. He's not the player that can play 3 games in a week and not be tired. I think we do have to think about his age, and we do have to think about where he is in his career. He's not he's not at the starting end of his career. Let's put it that way. But if we can get 60 minutes out of him and then look to bring on an Andre Gomez just to reinforce it, I think that'd be positive. But for me, Idrissa Gueye has to start from the start because he was immense on Wednesday night and deserves to keep his place. He was so good in the last 2 games. He was good against Nottingham Forest as well. So for me, he has to keep his place. And then also another midfielder that I would look to keep the place is James Garner. Looks a lot more calm against Liverpool for me. I think he was he's gone through a little bit of a rough patch in terms of his Everton career. I know a lot of people were scrutinising him, saying that we've not seen a lot from him. And a lot of people were saying to drop him. I think that was definitely the right decision to drop him. You look at the Newcastle game, he didn't play from the start, but came on in the second half and put in a good performance. I think he will keep his place against Brentford after his Liverpool performance. For me, I think now it's just about keeping consistency. You don't change your winning team too much. James Garner came in on Wednesday night and, as I said, put in a fantastic performance, but he can offer us something going forward as well. He's energetic. He was great with his tackling, I thought, on Wednesday night, and he can offer us something going forward in terms of running with the ball, driving in a straight line from midfield. I think he's very good at doing that. He's got the pace to do so. So for me, James Garner keeps his place. And then another player that I think will return to the starting 11 is Amadou Onana. I think this one is purely based on rotation. Adlene Guedioura is a player that played so well again on Wednesday night. I keep saying it, everyone played well, but Doucouré did put in a very good performance on Wednesday night. And for me, he does just need a little bit of a rest now. We've got a couple of difficult games coming up after this Brentford game. If for whatever reason we don't get over the line this Saturday, you look at the Luton game, you look at the Sheffield United game as 2 games that we want to maximise our chances in them and make sure we get over the line. I know we are 8 points clear now, but you can't take anything for granted in the Premier League. But for me, Amadou Onana comes back in just to give Doucouré a rest. He's a player that can offer us a lot. We know there's quality in Amadou Onana. He may have lost his way in an Everton shirt a little bit in recent weeks, but for me, his quality on the ball and his passes going forward can definitely hurt Brentford. They're a team that some may say are on the beach now. They are relatively clear of any danger whatsoever. So that their defense may be a little bit more open as maybe what it would have been in recent weeks as they try and maybe play a little bit more progressive. But for me, Amadou Onana, as I said before, his passes going forward, he's great on the ball. We know there's quality in there, so I think Dyche will look to use him on Saturday. And as I said with the Idrissa Gueye, there's players to come in and full rotation there. As I said, Adlene Guedioura, he would drop to the bench, so there's rotation there. There's an option there, and then also Andre Gomez is a player that can come off the bench. So there's definitely options in midfield, but I think that's the 3 that Dyche will opt for on Saturday against Brentford. And then moving into attack, I'm going to go with Jack Harrison off the right. Created a lot against Liverpool. He really gave Liverpool a nightmare. I think that was probably his best game in Everton shirt. If you look past the Bournemouth game just before Christmas, and the goal that he scored against Bournemouth, I think that's definitely his best performance in an Everton shirt for me. Put in a great sort of outside of the foot pass to Calvert-Lewin in behind, and which eventually won that penalty, which obviously Calvert-Lewin was just offside. But it shows that now Jack Harrison is actually looking up and trying to create chances a little bit more, and a little bit more than what he has done in recent weeks. So for me, Jack Harrison keeps his place there. I think he was superb against Liverpool, as I said before, and a player that I called for in recent weeks to show us a little bit more, gives a little bit more fight and create more chances. He definitely did that on Wednesday night. So for me, keeps his place, and I think Dyche will agree with that and start Jack Harrison against Brentford on Saturday. And then off the other side, need I say, I think it has to be Dwight McNeil. As I said, with including Ashley Young at left back, I'd be a lot more comfortable with Dwight McNeil ahead, as I said, because he chips in and does the defensive dirty work. So And he's just got that energy, he's got that tenacity, hasn't he, Dwight McNeil? He's been huge in these last two games against Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. Obviously, two huge performances, two huge victories, which have taken us 8 points clear of the relegation zone. I think Dwight McNeil is a large part of that due to his energy and how good he actually has been with the ball and without the ball. So for me, keeps his place definitely. I think Dyche will agree with that. Dwight McNeil is a centerpiece to a lot of what we do in terms of attack. So I think Dyche will look to use Dwight McNeil once again on Saturday against Brentford. And then striker, this may surprise a few people. I'd look to give Dominic Calvert-Lewin a rest. Obviously, he was battered and bruised anyway going into the Liverpool game initially. Had a stomach bug. Had a stomach bug as confirmed by Bobble just after the game. Had problems with his knees. He'd taken a knock in the Nottingham Forest game. Obviously, he missed the Chelsea game altogether through injury. So I think I'd look to give Dominic Calvert a little bit of a rest. He was unreal on Wednesday night. It has to be said. There's no denying that. I'm not dropping him for any other reason other than he's battered and bruised and he's had a rough couple of weeks in terms of injury. So give Dominic Calvert-Lewin a rest. Obviously, Beto is still unavailable due to his concussion and due to the concussion protocol. So I think now it's Yusuf Chamiti's time. I think Yusuf Chamiti will start against Brentford on Saturday. I think Dyche will now use this game as Yusuf Chamiti's opportunity. I was a little bit torn between Danjuma or Chamiti up front. I think Chamiti, it's now time for him. Let's see what he's got. But us as Evertonians, all we can do is just get behind him. We do have a little bit of tendencies to write off a player as soon as we've seen them. From what I've seen personally from cameos off Yusuf Chamiti, he's that. He's very similar to Calvert-Lewin for me. He's that tall, big runner. He's powerful. He puts himself about. And I think if he is utilised just like Dominic Calvert-Lewin and grows into that role as the game goes on, I think there's no reason why he can't succeed. And there's no reason why he can't be, even giving Dyche a little bit of a selection headache in terms of the next few weeks, because I do genuinely think of all the cameos I've seen of Yusuf Chamiti, he has got the minerals there to be a starting Everton striker in years to come. So hopefully he gets his opportunity on Saturday and let's see what he's got. But let's get behind him and hope we can get over the line. And that's all for the starting 11. Let me know your thoughts on this starting 11. Let me know if we make any changes. Hopefully we can get over the line, as I said. Hopefully by Sunday evening, all those Evertonians can relax. 3 games to go after that. And as I said, relax knowing that we'll be a Premier League team next season. But that is all from me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.